Cool. Perfect,
Mm-hmm.
perfect. All right, let's do this all over again. Okay, please introduce us to yourself, who you are, what do you do, all that fun stuff.
Cool. So I'm Chantè Knight. I'm 29 years old and I am a costume artisan. That's a name that I came up for myself to explain that I'm a person who works with costumes, construction with my hands, that I work with my hands a lot. So that's a little bit about me. I worked at Busch Gardens with you before. So that was, and as an elf, and I was hearing your story earlier about how it's one of those jobs that you just will never get an opportunity to do again. And I totally agree with you on
Yeah.
that one. Like it's like once in a lifetime. Like it was such a fun job to have. One of the most fun jobs I've ever had. So yeah, totally agree with you on that one.
What was your elf name again?
I was Glitzy with a IE or with a Y. I don't remember. I
Yes.
remember there were two Glitzies. One was spelled with a Y. One was with an IE, but I don't remember which one I was.
So how long have you been a costume artisan?
I have been a costume artisan for about 10 years. At first, I stuck with doing costumes, but when I went to grad school, it helped me see more of a different view of things. So I got to do lots of crafty things, and that has been kind of the culmination that made me the costume artisan I am now.
And you also cosplay as well.
Yes. I cosplayed
How
for
long have you been doing
about
that for?
I've been cosplaying for about 10 years as well. So they kind of went hand in hand. I decided to become a costume artisan because I was into cosplay. Because with cosplaying, I did a lot of things that most people usually don't do, and there's skills that you don't usually do on a normal basis. So it was really fun being able to go from the cosplaying world into the theater world because they are very similar in many ways, and a lot of people don't realize that.
So talk to us about grad school. You went to grad school up north, right?
In Illinois, and that's where I am now. I moved back to Illinois.
Oh my gosh, how do you like it up there?
It's like Florida, but the weather is a little bit crazier.
So what did you learn in grad school that you didn't during undergrad?
With grad school, it was more focused. With undergrad, you learned like since it was in theater, you learned the broad aspect of everything. When I went to grad school, I got to stick with one specific thing, and that was costume technology, which is where you're sewing costumes and doing more of the back end work or the backstage work of working on costumes in theater. That's what I wanted to do specifically. So when I went to grad school, that's what I got to focus on, which was really lovely. Um, they did have us try and do a little bit of costume technology and costume design, but I stuck with doing primarily costume technology things.
What what sparked this interest for you during your childhood to want to get involved with costuming?
I actually made dolls, clothes for my dolls when I was smaller. And I would draw out little designs for them as well. A lot of them I didn't make, but I did make a lot of the drawings that I did. And my family was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And didn't really know what I was getting myself into, nor did I. But that kind of fell off the wagon, and it wasn't until 2008 when I went to my first convention that I got to relive what I used to do as a kid, making dolls, clothes for my dolls, and making clothes for myself. So really, even though when I was small, I was into sewing, I didn't really think of it as a career or as a even as a hobby or a career. I didn't think about having it as a career until I went to my first convention.
Very interesting. And do you still make your
hmm
own clothes now?
From time to time, I do. I want to get more into it, especially since we have a lot of time now.
Yeah.
Before, I haven't been able to work on anything like that, but I'm excited about doing like a collection of clothes for myself because I do need it now. Especially since I fluctuated in my weight. I was like, oh my gosh, my weight is so different now. So I have to make a lot of clothes for myself now.
I saw that recently that you were gaining weight and losing it, but back and forth. What's going on with that?
I wasn't losing weight. It's more that I've gained weight, and it's the heaviest that I've ever been. And it's very strange for me because I've always seen myself as like a little skinny, stick thin person. So having a lot of my clothes not fit me anymore was really strange. But also eye opening to realize, oh, yes, I am getting older. I can't do the things that I used to do when I was young. So, so
Heard that. What is digital patterning? Because you offer classes on that, right?
yes, I do. I offer a working class on digital patterning. What patterning is when you take a patterning is a flat. Oh, hmm. It's hard to explain because I'm hearing what I just said on a delay in my
Oh
ear, and
no.
it's very weird.
Oh no. So the headphones aren't working. Let me try taking it out again. How's that now? Is that better?
No, because I'm hearing it on a delay.
Why don't we try taking off your headphones again?
Okay.
How's that now? Is that better? Yeah, that's fine.
No,
Yeah, that's fine.
because I'm hearing it on a delay.
Why don't we try taking off your headphones again?
Do you hear it?
Oh,
Okay.
now we're
Oh,
super
now we're
delayed.
super delayed. Mm-hmm.
How's that now? Is that better?
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
No,
Yeah, that's fine.
because I'm hearing it on a delay.
Why don't we try taking off your headphones again?
Do you hear it?
Oh,
Okay.
now we're
Oh,
super
now we're
delayed.
super delayed. Mm-hmm.
How's that now? Is that better? Yeah, that's fine.
No,
Yeah, that's fine.
because I'm hearing it on a delay.
This is very interesting. Okay. Can you hear me? That was very interesting. That's never happened before.
Ooh. Now I can't hear you.
Now you can't hear me at all. How about now? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. Okay. It's gonna
Okay.
delay, so I'm gonna try and just kind of talk over the delay so it doesn't mess me up too much. But flat patterning is a way of drafting clothes on a flat surface. So if you take a t-shirt, you kind of trace it and you traced it, that would be a flat patterning of the t-shirt. But with digital patterning is taking that same idea that you would use pen and pencil to draw lines and curves for the design, you're doing all of that on a computer instead of doing it on paper. And it makes it a little bit easier because with flat patterning you tend to use a lot of paper and you're using a lot, like, ooh, a lot of paper that wastes, and sometimes is wasted, which is unfortunate because you also have to cut it out. A way, so digital patterning is a way to keep you from using all that paper and also spending money on expensive rulers to utilize the same thing you would do on paper but just on the computer.
How cool. How cool. Okay. So you're very open talking about your mental health on your social media. Um
Mhm. Mhm.
in particular you said that you feel bored and there's nothing sparking joy. How do you feel about your transparency online?
Some people might see my transparency as negative because a lot of the times, um, I am hurting. I do post it out on Facebook, but I feel like you have to be transparent in some degree, especially with mental health, because it is very stigmatized. And a lot of people don't realize that it can happen to anyone. A lot of the times I have a front where I'm just a happy go lucky person, that I'm very optimistic. And but the realness is that I'm doing that. I'm putting on a mask to hide my mental health issues. That's why a lot of times I'm transparent on. That's one of the ways that I to kind of put out my real self on Facebook and people to understand, like, hey, I'm a person that suffers every day, all day, and it can happen to anyone. even though I am really successful in a lot of things that I've done, yeah, it can happen to pretty much anyone.
That's very interesting that you say that because it seems that you're doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is painting that they're perfect and their
Hmm.
life is great, whereas you are, that's very interesting. Is so that's something that you do
Yeah.
intentionally.
Yes, I do it intentionally. Yes.
That's very, very interesting. On one of your posts, you talked about the difficulties of finding a psychiatrist who is available and affordable. And I would like to share my story before you
Okay.
share
Yeah.
yours, if you don't mind.
Yeah. No, no,
Um,
no. Go ahead.
um, this was years ago when, we were still on our parents' health insurance, you know,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
finding a psychiatrist who wasn't booked for the next 2 months and who didn't want you to see your primary care first, and then you need to go see this other doctor first and then go see this other doctor, and it's like, okay, I'm already $500 in the hole and I haven't even talked to anyone yet.
Mm. Mm-mm.
So if you don't mind sharing your story
About the first time that I was trying to find a psychiatrist.
of finding a psychiatrist that's accessible, affordable,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
It is still pretty hard to find someone who is affordable and accessible. I am now that I am in another state, because before I was be seeing psychiatrists and psychologists in Florida, moving to another state, it's a completely different story. It was much easier for me to find doctors in Florida than it has been in Illinois, especially since I do have Medicaid insurance, and unfortunately, a lot of places don't take that insurance. So it's been
They
really
don't.
hard trying to find doctors that are accessible, that are within a price range that's reasonable. And it's insane that sometimes when you're trying to find a psychiatrist, if you're trying to get your medication, you have to make sure that sometimes with some doctors you have to have a primary care, like you said, and the primary care has to give you a referral to see a psychologist, which is ridiculous. You shouldn't need a referral to see someone when you know that you have these problems. And so it has been very hard, but I'm thankful that I was able to find a psychologist who was able to kind of pinpoint me to where I needed to go. And I didn't need a referral for that, thank goodness. Um, but I do have to go out and find a primary care now so that I can get the medications that I need, which is a little frustrating. I wish that it was just kind of one thing and done. Like if you know that
Yeah.
you're this, and this, that you can just go to a doctor and say, I need this, and this, and be like, okay, yes, we'll give you those things without having to go through loops.
Can you tell people why you need to see a primary care first? Because I don't think people understand why.
Sometimes you have to see a primary care first in order for them to refer you to see a different doctor. So I know there's one hospital chain here called Carl that's very similar to like the Florida Medical Clinic in Florida, where they're one branch, but they have branches everywhere. And in order for you to be able in order for you to be able to be seen by any other doctor, you have to get a referral from your primary care physician in order for you to see that doctor. And some doctors, it just makes it a little bit harder for you to see a specific doctor, especially if you're like, okay, I know I have this issue and I need to see this doctor. You have to first go to one person. You have to go to your primary care, tell them, hey, I have this issue. I know I need to go see this doctor. And then you have to have them give you the referral. It's just jumping through more loops to try and get from point A to point B. They're kind of like the middleman with a lot of doctors.
Another reason why I was told is people will go and make up a story in order to get drugs so that way they can sell them.
Mm-hmm. That is also another thing that I've heard as well, that some people use them in the wrong way, use other doctors in the wrong way. But It's
What do
unfortunate.
you think about the stick? Yeah, right. It's very unfortunate. Um, what are some of your what are some of your favorite games to play?
Some of my favorite games to play, board games. One of my favorite board games to play is Ticket to Ride. I'm addicted to that game. Um, so it's really fun.
And
And what is else?
what do you think about the stigma of mental health in the Black community?
Oh, wow, in the Black community. I don't know how to talk about it within the Black community because I'm not really surrounded in it. I can talk about it within my family because I know within my family it is very much so stigmatized. Um, I've been suffering with anxiety and depression since I was about 12, at a very young age, and my family kind of treated it as it was just a phase. It was nothing.
Yeah.
It was just something that was in your head. Like, oh, no, 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 you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. And it took them a very long time to realize that I actually had a problem or just a disorder in some way or shape or form. It took them a very long time for them to see it and to also understand it and to accept it. But now they know, so it's a little bit better relationship within my family now. But it was very much so very not talked about. We never talked about it. I even tried talking to my father's side of the family and asked, oh, does anyone in the family have any kind of mental health issues? And they're like, no, no, no one in the family has anything like that. And that's one of the things that really sucks when you're trying to find out about your medical health and your family kind of hides it from you in a way. It makes it very hard for you to figure out like what issues are in the family. I have no idea. So that's kind of the road that I went through. A lot of times when doctors were asking me about my medical health, I'm like, I don't know if my family has this because they don't tell you. They kind of hide it. They want you to feel like, seem like you're perfect, you're sane mentally, but sometimes you're not. And it's really hard when your family doesn't really believe you when you have these kinds of issues and you try to talk to them like, oh no, you're fine, you just get through it. No, you just need to do this and this and you'll be
Just pray
fine.
about it.
Yeah, just pray about it. I got that a lot. Just pray about it. Just sleep and pray and everything will be okay. I'm like, no, it's more than that. It got to the point where I had to be on medication. So,
Where can we follow you, stalk you, like you, all that fun stuff?
oh my gosh, I am on every single social media, but at this moment, I am taking a break from it, because I realize it's stifling a lot of my creativity right now. So I'm in like a little ball right now trying to find my creativity again. I've been having a rough time trying to get back into get in. I've been having a rough time trying to get back into cosplaying, because I know that was something that was super important to me, and I loved every moment of it. But I've been having such a drain on my creativeness that I'm trying to find a way to get it back. So I kind of was like, okay, let me step away from social media for a little bit and get my zen back and figure out a way for me to get back into cosplaying and make it fun again and not a job. So
Yeah.
I'm in my I'm on that road right now. So yeah.
I was going to ask
But
you, what are you doing right now creatively to stay sane during this pandemic? So weird calling
well,
it a pandemic.
it is kind of weird calling it a pandemic,
Yeah.
but I've mostly trying to work on my mental health. So I'm not really doing many things creatively. I'm just trying to make myself mentally sane, especially since I don't have a job. I'm kind of indoors all day, every day. Ooh, bird. There's a bird flying through my window. Um, I like my cat. Anyway, so I'm trying to find some creative juices. So what I've been doing in my time in the pandemic is like baking, cooking. I've been cooking more, which is amazing. I love cooking. I didn't realize how much I loved cooking. Playing video games from time to time, do puzzles, but I haven't gotten back into creating anything in about a month. But I've only been off of social media for about a couple of days. It hasn't been too long. So
I had wrote down, why are you so lovable? And let me tell you why. What kind of cats do I? You have cats? I had
oh
wrote
yeah, I
down,
have
why
a
are you
cat.
so
Her name is Estelle, and she's a tabby cat. She's sitting on a bed frame right now. She's looking really cute.
but I had wrote down, why are you so lovable? And I don't know if that's an appropriate question because I don't know. Do you feel lovable?
I'm sorry.
I had written down, one of my questions was, why are you so lovable? And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if I should ask you that or not because do you feel lovable?
I feel lovable, but I don't feel like I should accept the love, if that makes
Mm,
any sense.
it makes sense.
I know that I'm a person that, because I'm so open and extremely humbled by a lot of the mental health issues that I've gone through, because I've been through some very dark darks. Um, so I know that I can't accept love, but it's harder for me to accept the support. I feel like a lot of the times I feel like, oh no, I don't deserve this support at all. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. Like, no, this is not something that I should be given. But I know that I need to do that more. I need to accept the love more, because that's the only way that I can keep building myself further and better and better and better, is if I do learn to accept that support. And it's very hard. I didn't realize that I've been kind of distant from taking people's support until recently, when I kind of was like by myself. I was thinking like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel like I don't have any friends? Why do I feel so alone? Why do I feel like I'm just here on this planet Earth? And I realized, oh, it's because I'm not taking the support that I need from people to make myself feel good and feel better. So, yeah.
Well, maybe this will fall on deaf ears, but I love you. I
Aw,
adore you.
thank you.
I
Thank
think that
you.
what you do is so cool, extremely jealous. I was looking at your page on the patterning and I was like, is it too late to learn a new skill in life?
No, it is never too late. Never.
Well, I appreciate you being so transparent and so honest and for being on this planet with us right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can get back on my feet so I can become more successful, because I really did need this break, because I was working really hard on the digital patterning class, and for a while I was like wondering if this was even worth it, if this is something that I need to do. So that's a kind of where some of my creative juices started kind of dissipating, because I felt like it wasn't something that people wanted, or something anyone needed. But at the same time, I know that it's something that I need and something that I want in my life. So I feel like it should be something that other people want eventually. Since I kind of see now that it's something that is important to me, understanding that there are other ways to be creative and not breaking your back over a pen and pencil doing something.
Hmm.
So I hope that I can get to that point where I feel like, yes, I'm doing this and I'm in it.
Well, I appreciate you, Chantè.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you too. And I really am thankful for you to come out and talk to me about all of this, for sure.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to you later.
Yes, of course. You can talk to me at any time. If you ever want me on here again, like in another few months to see where I am, I'd be okay with that.
Okay, okay, I'm writing that
Yeah.
down. All right,
Okay.
you have a good day, okay? Eat something yummy for me.
Oh, I already did. It was wonderful.
All
Yes, I made
right.
sure to wake up early and have a good breakfast.
All right. Well, you have a good day, okay? All
Yeah, you too.
right.